to start by thanking all the parents that took to heart the invitation to do what is best for their children beyond providing clothing and food and entertainment, and that is connecting them to the source of life, that is Jesus Christ, and making them friend with Jesus Christ, just as we heard from the story of Lazarus, who was, he and his sisters, friends with Jesus. And when Lazarus was in trouble, they had the boldness, they had the connection to call to their aid Jesus Christ. And if you want to do what is best for your children, that is long-lasting and is going to protect them many years after you are gone, they need to be established as friends with Jesus Christ. And for those of you who can do some research, you can do your own research, and you will see there is a correlation between when the time of prayers was stopped as being part of the life of children and their education and all the mental and emotional problems of children. So do some digging up, and you'll see the connection so very clearly. And this is a good segue for me to talk about another miraculous raising from the dead for the saint that we celebrate today, Mary of Egypt. And I will tell you more about her story so you can realize what type of raising from the dead that Jesus performed with this woman. Jesus indeed does raise people from the dead, as we saw with Lazarus. He does that every single moment. There is not one single moment of time that passes that Jesus is not raising people from the dead. There are only few examples of such miraculous raising from the dead that we see, recognize, or has become known to us. Most of the resurrections that Jesus performs are a mystery hidden from us. Mary of Egypt was not buried in the ground as a dead person when Jesus raised her from the dead. She was buried in the grave, in the tomb of darkness. She suffered the anguish and the anxiety of sin. Then a pilgrimage, her curiosity to join a pilgrimage, to go to the Holy Land, turned out to be a connecting point for her, a portal, a road, a bridge to come out of the death, darkness, and sin into the life. And this is where I want to draw the attention of each and every one of us. There was a church that Mary of Egypt, out of curiosity, went to that became the reason for her resurrection. A church just like this church and every church is an opportunity for someone dead, like men of Egypt, to come in contact with holiness, to come in contact with the life, and to be resurrected. And this is a reason for us not to ever underestimate or dismiss the importance what this parish does and what all the parishes throughout the world they do. Because many, countless numbers of resurrections are taking place right under our eyes, but invisible to us. Mary's last stop before she crossed into the unknown, into the wilderness, where she became forgotten in the eyes of people, was a monastery where she received the Holy Sacraments. Just think about all these clergy and all these parishioners that this woman came into contact when she came into the church or the monastery, that they were a reason for that place to exist and to function, where she can come and pray and receive the Holy Sacraments. They didn't know what was going on. They did not realize that this was an incident where God was performing a powerful, miraculous, bringing someone back from the dead into the light, into life. Mary fought her war, one battle after one battle for 40 years. 40 years, fighting the demons of the flesh that today we consider them a style of life, and you can't turn your eyes anywhere without coming across these demons in the most eloquent portrays of nudity and other things of similar type. Mary fought for 40 years these demons, and she became victorious in the war through the grace of God. And then God found for her a priest to come to hear her confession, to bring her Holy Communion, and to bury her. So again, we see the role of the churches, the Christians, and the clergy, knowingly or unknowingly, aiding God choosing them to be His co-workers in bringing resurrection to the people who are dead and who are captive in darkness and prisoners under the authority of the power of hell. The example of Mary should be our inspiration to realize this is where we need to be. And this is the most important function of our week. And this is the focal point of our life. When you are here, when you are maintaining this place, when you are maintaining these services, through whatever you are doing, you are a co-worker with God, bringing people sinking in the swamp of death, covered and choking by the mud of sin. That's not a bad deal, right? To know through whatever you are doing, this is something, is one of the fruits of what you are doing. As a church, and every church, that pertains for us because we are here and this is our discussion. It's important that we are ready and we do things to the best of our abilities. So, Mary of Egypt and every Mary like her and every person, when they walk into these doors, they can come in contact with holiness and with the life, and they can be raised from the dead. And the last thing that we need to remember, these people who need this healing, like Mary of Egypt, they do not fit the stereotype that we are used to. They are always strange, unusual, but yet, whether they fit our stereotype or they don't, they are sent by God, and we need to be ready